Hello, hello. Today we are going to be building a Pride theme parade lot, and this is something I did last month, and I'm really excited to show y'all how it turned out. So I know I sound like a broken record because I've been posting a lot of Pride theme builds lately, and that was because I was streaming so much in June. We are still trying to get through this. I took a week off from content creation after doing all of that. I was streaming every day and needed the break. So I'm just now trying to get back into my grind with streaming and making YouTube content. And we still just have a few more Pride theme builds to wrap up. So we're almost there. I know it's been a lot of speed builds, but I'm curious if you let me know down below what some of the content is here on my YouTube channel that you'd like for me to get right back into doing. If you're new here, I do a lot of fun little challenges. We obviously do shell challenges. We also do some challenges like a half-baked shell challenge. And with that, I actually take some items from base game and kind of fill in the house. I build the shell and put like some design elements. I put furniture that you can't move or change the swatch of. So it's like an added layer to a shell challenge where you have to work with the colors that I give you or something along those lines, which can be a really fun design challenge on top of just laying out the space. So let me know if you want to do that. I have a Furnish It Forward challenge. This is where I take an empty shell on the gallery and I just kind of furnish it and re-upload it finished. And I love looking for y'all's builds. So just keep in mind, anytime that you want me to use your build for many of my challenges that I have the swatch switch challenge as well, where I just go through and change colors of objects and I can't change the objects themselves. Anytime you want me to feature your builds, just put those on the gallery with the hashtag Dr. Sims, and then I can find them, and I would love to feature your builds in our videos moving forward. Now, with this slot, this was, like I said, I was doing Pride-themed builds throughout the month, and I have never done a lot like this before. I've seen other people do types of lots with like parades and cars on them and just generally having a road with like a street. Some people do townhomes like this, and where the other side of the road is just like these fake buildings that we have in debug. So that was something I was going for with the parade build here because I've never done something like that, and I wanted the added challenge of doing something I've never done before. So I was figuring out the road and some of the tires, like you can see here, and I came across this metal object that's like rounded that you could use as a rim. So I put those in to make like this fake tire, which ends up working pretty well. Now, don't get me wrong, we do have like trailers in debug as well, which work really well for these types of builds, but I wanted there to be like more visible tires because those underneath the float, you don't really see them. So I thought it would be cool to do like some custom tires of some sort. And then I find some fun decor to put over them just to liven it up a good bit. Now, this took a while. I did it on a Friday night, and I think we streamed for about 6 or 7 hours. Now, what's funny, and you'll see it in the build later, is how I was actually close to wrapping up the stream. And we have, like I said, these debug buildings that you can put alongside the road. And I came across the Love Struck buildings, which I completely forgot about. I've seen them so many times before, but they are really colorful buildings. And I was like, oh no. Oh no, we have to use this for this lot. So I ended up going back 5 hours or so into the stream, probably longer than that, and completely redid the sides. I tried to keep a lot of what I had already placed, but obviously the shapes of the buildings were different. I couldn't just leave everything as it was and change them around. It is what it is, but it ended up working out. Now, you'll see me going to the gallery several times. I even cut out a lot of it because I don't think it's as interesting, but I wanted a lot of people at the parade. I think this is what sells it a bit more if you were able to make it look like there's a crowd of people. So I relied on the mannequins we get in the game. Now, the only other time I've ever used mannequins in a build was actually recently. It was a few weeks ago for a castle wedding venue that I built, and I only had a few mannequins in that one, so I didn't run into the same types of issues that I did here. It was actually pretty interesting because whenever you place mannequins, I guess if you go past a certain threshold, the game actually wouldn't save. So I'd always have to save it to my library, exit the lot, come back into the lot, and then I could save. So it was a bit finicky, but I made it work. Now, I think the threshold is around 10. So I actually could not upload this to the gallery. I have a workaround, so I'll go through that at the end of the video for how you can actually still get it in your game if you want to play in the lot or see the lot in your own game. I will say that it was a bit tricky to handle this, and you guys, we had I think it was nearly 200 mannequins by the end of the video, because they'll even tell you whenever you go to upload it to the gallery, it's like, sorry, you can't upload it because you have X number of mannequins. It was almost 200. For some reason, my game didn't break. I don't want to jinx it, but a lot of people said that I'm lucky that my game let me put this many mannequins. It was kind of funny because at times the mannequins would start kind of flickering. And it was just like, I don't think my game's okay. So this, I fairly am confident to say, literally almost broke my game entirely. It was worth it. I think it turned out really fun. I definitely want to do more builds like this in the future. I don't know what I would do, but let me know in the comments below if you have some ideas for other types of lots like this that are more like event focused, as opposed to like it being a house or a community build or like a building itself or something. I'd love to do something more like this. Like it could be fun to even do like a garage sale lot or like some type of little arts and crafts sale or something like that. I know back home for me at my old high school, they actually have a period where there's like an arts and crafts fair of some sort that they do in the building, but we could do an outdoors one or something like that. I think would be really fun. So let me know if you want to see something like that. I'll add it on my ever-growing list of builds to do in this game. But I put like a lot of lawn chairs around. The first float that I worked on that has the hot air balloon, that was just really fun. I wanted something to incorporate that because it's like rainbow themed, but it just kind of had like this king and king moment with the big thrones and seats. I don't know. We were pretending like maybe they're famous people or are well known in the community. And then I actually end up on the front one. There we go. I'm just now putting the kings there. I at first got the king and queen. I was like, wait a second, this is a pride build. Let's do a king and king moment. So we had to do that. I actually have some of the Star Wars characters in this. That was really fun. I even have Darth Vader where he's holding some like black balloons. And then I have other characters that are just holding some colorful balloons. I thought that was cute because maybe in the mascot figures, they're walking down, they see kids, they go and give them a balloon or something on the side. So I had a lot of fun. There are a lot of cute little touches that probably won't make as much sense or you just wouldn't notice because we came up with them during the stream. So I do stream over on Twitch. If you'd like to join us over there, we'd love to have you join in and the fun. And I love getting community feedback and inspiration. So we just started a fun fairy castle build that I'm doing that's like a beachy theme, which is kind of cool. And I just started that on stream yesterday and had some really great input from people who are hanging out. I love to do really big builds on my streams, and I think it's more fun that way because then we get a lot more community input. So it feels more like a community build as opposed to just something I build and you have to watch me do. So I would love to have you join in the community there. That's linked down below for you if you want to join. On this front float here, since the new Enchanted by Nature pack hadn't come out yet, keep in mind this was a few weeks ago when we built this, I wanted to incorporate it somehow. So this front float I'm working on right here actually has gnomes. It's like gnome themed with fairies. Now it was really fun too because someone who was watching Freebird Flying, thank you, shout out to you, you actually went during the live stream and made gnome and fairy mannequins for me to use and put on the float. So that was really fun. And that's what I'm talking about. We love to have a fun community moment where people are so invested in the build and want to, incorporate themselves into it. I love having people who want to actually invest in the builds and like want to be a part of them. So that was a really special moment. I don't know, it meant a lot to me. So thank you so much. Shout out to you for doing that to make the build come alive even more and getting the theme to come across even more than it would have otherwise. But I was putting these like colorful bushes because we come in like rainbow colors. So I was trying to go in the order of the rainbow. I was trying to find anything and everything that was rainbow themed. I'm sure I missed some things. I know I did for a couple of items that I just couldn't fit in very well. But this one was trying to go with like a rustic look because obviously with the new pack, it's more cottage core type energy, like whimsy, lots of woodsy tones. So that's why I put like the wood paneling on it, even though it's a float. It's kind of like, it might look a little weird, but it comes together in the end, I think, with the theme that comes across. But I had a lot of fun figuring out a lot of the characters that I was putting here. I put a little princess on the very top of that float too, just to give it more of an enchanted kind of vibe. And then I love these characters, so I had to incorporate them into the build. So I put them on the roofs of the building. They're not necessarily pride focused. It was just fun energy. So I was like, we're going to do that. And it makes me think of like New York a little bit. In their big buildings, they have like lots of big objects on or around them or built into them. And so I actually do something really fun with the Freezer Bunny here soon that I'm excited for y'all to see, but I think it makes it come alive a bit more. But I was trying to go for this like kind of not necessarily like a ship vibe, but on the top, I just wanted to incorporate like a rounded room of some sort. And I just think that gives more of like a floaty type vibe. I don't know how to explain it, but that's why I did that. And I wanted it to be a tall tower because obviously, with there being a princess on top, it just kind of made sense to go with the theme of the magic element of everything. So we have her, and then I actually have like this wizard also. So it's almost like it's Elphaba and Glinda. So it has some wicked tones to it a little bit, but I thought that was really fun. And then I actually have like a secret Reaper gnome that's hidden inside of it on the bottom floor. So there could be something mischievous happening behind the scenes that we just don't know what it is yet. So someone's coming after the princess. So I like putting little nods like that though. And then some other things I did, I have like mannequins that are interacting with mascots. So on the sides with all the mannequins, I put some kids in front of the mascots where they're like waving. Like some of the mannequin kind of looks and their design make them look like they're waving or running or like standing with their hands on their hips. It's just funny, a lot of the poses that they have. I made it look like they were waving at each other, and so I face them sometimes, so it looks like they're interacting, and I have a lot of nods like that with the mannequins that I'm not going to necessarily go through in this video, but I do have the VOD. If you want to check out the VOD on this, I'll link that down below for you, and obviously I would recommend if you do watch it, maybe put it, crank it up a little bit to 2 times speed so it doesn't take as long to get through. But it was fun to put little touches like that, and I think that goes unnoticed whenever you're doing a lot of these builds and you're just catching the YouTube video as opposed to being involved in the streams. There are some other funny things, like I have one mannequin that's running and it looks like they're going to run right into a pole, and then a guy mannequin is looking far behind over off to the side looking at them like, oh my gosh, are you about to run into that pole? So it's kind of just funny to do nods like that. And then just a minute ago, I put the room down with the gnomes and then the fairies that Freebird Flying made for us. So that was really fun. That's what I did. And I actually placed it again later. I think I put more fairies in the actual parade as opposed to being on just the float. So they're on the road as well. But I put a lot of like decor, a lot of flowers on this float. I was trying to make it look fun and magical and whimsy, but we have a lot of limited space. Obviously, with it being a float, you want space for people to actually stand on it, which were our mannequins. And then it's like that alone took up so much space. I can't put like a lot of furniture pieces or things like that necessarily. I put a lot of these hanging decor pieces that we get from like, I think it's Seasons for the most part. That came in clutch with this. I don't know why I just said that, but Seasons came in handy a lot with this build. And I don't use Seasons a ton. I use it primarily, I think, for my kids' bedrooms and stuff like that for the decor elements. There are a lot of cute little kid decor items, but I put a lot of pride flags in the build as well. And then I'm trying to like figure out the other side now that's kind of empty because I thought it would look weird. There's the room again, by the way. So those are our fairies and gnomes that were created for us. And then I also took the gnomes in the game and sized them up to put on the float too. So we have tons of gnomes. But I do think it would be funny to see what it looks like now with the update, with the new pack, because the gnomes can move. So it could be cute to see how they interact on the float in live mode. Now, I haven't necessarily tried to go in live mode for this. It might be glitchy. I don't know. I'm kind of scared to check. But it would be interesting to see nonetheless. Back to what I was saying, I feel like the other half of the lot, it would be weird to leave it open. So that's why I wanted buildings on both sides. Now, obviously, it looks weird either way because we can't like connect it on the sides of the lot to the road. Because right now, it looks like this road is going straight into that pond. And that's not where I want people to drive, you know? With this float back here, I was trying to do more like rainbow colors. So the typical like red, blue, green, yellow, orange, purples, things like that are really bold and vibrant. Whereas with the other float, that was more like supposed to be greenery with flowers. I'm just like putting a lot of these like decorative lights. Now I end up putting a ton of fun things like the confetti all over the ground. Pride parades that I've been to, I know that they can get really crowded and very messy very quickly with fun objects like confetti. I put confetti cannons in here. We add the TV crew, so it's like being filmed. So I put some cameras at the front of the parade. So it's just like, with the Macy's parade that I watch on Thanksgiving every year. It's just like how they have it set up on the side where you can see everything coming through. I thought that was fun. And so I found these buildings that I'm currently using. I didn't want to use the flat ones that we get in Get Famous that look like a set because it just looks bad from the other side. So I found another set of buildings that look like full buildings. And honestly, I have used buildings like this before in my actual builds. So I know like there's a cottage I've done before. There's a cute, good bit of cottage living stuff that's debugged with buildings that you could put in your backyards, like a shed or something like that, that really can make a space look very complete and different if you don't want to fill it in yourself. It's a cute little hack. But with this is the freezer bunny. I found this hat object. I like knew I wanted to use it early on in the stream because I had seen it before. I've never been able to use the rainbow swatch, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. So it looks funny to have it on the building, but I wanted that party blower thing to be in the freezer bunny's mouth. I just think it's really funny. And the thing with this is that I can remember, and I've definitely seen in real life, I've seen toy stores where, like in the big cities, they actually have big objects like that, like a teddy bear or something built into the frame of the building where it sticks out from over the front door or something like that. So that's what I was kind of going for with that type of energy, that the hat is built into the building and maybe on the first floor there's a toy store or something like that. I don't know, but it's definitely not uncommon to see fun objects like that built into the sides of buildings just to make it, flashier or stand out a bit more. Now I'm like putting the street lighting. I have pretty much the buildings for now all done and set up how I want to. So now it's more about cluttering the lot and putting necessities like street lights, trash cans. I put a couple of fire hydrants. We had a fireman mannequin. So I have him by the fire hydrant, just, manning the hydrant, which is a cute little touch. I put these bows on the front of the trucks. I end up putting pride flags on the hoods as well. So I was trying to like put some nice little details in. We put some food stalls. We have DJs. We have coolers everywhere. And then I have the hopscotch. We have marbles. I was trying to think of everything that I could whenever I go to pride parades, which it's been a year or two, I think, since I've been to one. I just don't like the crowds. It just gets a little overwhelming, and it's usually really hot, and I just don't feel like being around a lot of people, and I'm all hot, sweaty, and it's just not a vibe for me. It's not what I want, and I don't feel comfortable just walking around in my shorts. So I just don't feel like going as much anymore now that I'm getting older. It is what it is. But I put some mailboxes. We have security cameras. We have the confetti that I'm putting down now. We have this heart-shaped confetti that was perfect for this, and I kind of went nuts with it. I wanted it everywhere because, again, if you've been to a pride parade, we know how to party. We know how to have a good time. Is it messy? Yes. Is it realistic? Yes. Would you want to clean it up? No. But this is a game, so I don't have to clean it up. So I put it all over the place. I put it on the road. I put it even on the sidewalks. It's all over the place. I put confetti cannons all the way down the road on both sides as well. So there's the cameras that I was setting up. We have that, and then I also put like I think it's a Get Famous one that actually looks like a TV broadcasting camera. And then I have this booth here that I put the music in. And then I wanted there to be like just kind of like this party scene a little bit. And so whenever I get the new buildings put in, there's actually on the right side of the lot, there's like a little bit of a balcony space. And I actually put mannequins on that too and alt placed them just like they're watching down. It made me think of New Orleans because if you have ever been to NOLA and you go to get your beads, people are all over those balconies all the way down. And it's just like giving that type of vibe and energy. So I had some of the mannequins that wear the raunchy kind of like leather straps and stuff like that to put that up there. I don't know. It was just kind of to match the type of party energy that I have experienced in real life as well. I thought that was a cute and fun little nod to put there for that. And then I love these like little balloon lights. I've been using these a little bit more lately for like more whimsy kind of builds and magical builds. I think they look really fun and you can use them in a lot of different ways. I like to put them in another lot. I had them kind of sticking out of trees like they were maybe objects or a plant even that was growing out of a tree trunk or something. And I think it's really cute for that. The front truck here that I put with the big fairy gnome float, we were pretending in the chat that this was where the parade marshal is. And I was kind of thinking the parade marshal might be a drag queen because that would be just really fun for a pride parade. So I actually end up putting like this fun big pink seat in the back with a disco ball and a ton of balloons. And I just thought that would be the perfect vibe if we were to have a drag queen. Granted, I don't think a drag queen would want to be on the back of a pickup truck like that, but you know, it's The Sims. We're a little bit limited with what we could choose, and obviously we needed something that they could be in the back of. So I couldn't just put like a car. That wouldn't make sense necessarily. But this is where I'm working on that now. And then I just grab like a pink chair to put there. And then I actually end up putting like a statue in the back of the other one that's like a heart-shaped statue. And it ends up being a really cute and fun little vibe. And then now I'm just like I put a little sprinkler. I actually kind of forgot that I did that. I put a sprinkler and I put water balloons as well. I just like the idea of thinking that kids are playing, you know, not in the street, but on the sidewalks by the street. This is where I found these buildings, and y'all have to admit, these are the perfect types of buildings for this build. So I was like, I'm going to have to redo all this, aren't I? And I was on stream. I was like, am I going to have to? Am I going to have to? Did I have to? No. But yeah, I kind of did. So I ended up changing them. I cut out a lot of the footage with me, you know, finagling the buildings to look just right. And then thankfully for these, you can like change the swatches sometimes of like the debug items. And so I put these like really colorful vibes in this, and I do think it livened up the lot a pretty good bit. I think it was worth doing. It did add a lot of extra time because the buildings on this side didn't go as far back. So I kind of had to smush some things in and move a lot of the objects I had already placed around, which was not as easy as it sounds like it would be because, again, I have limited space to work with. And then I had all of these like little characters set up on the other buildings, which obviously didn't line up very well with the new ones. I had to kind of redo a lot of the work, but again, I think it was worth it. These buildings were perfect for this lot, so I couldn't not do it, you know. But back to what I was saying about the kiddos, I just like the idea. You see it all the time in like movies and things where there's a hydrant potentially open on the side of the road, and there are kids like running around in it or having fun. So I liked the idea of having the water balloons, having a sprinkler nearby, just so kids could like play around in it while the parade's going on. And then this is me redoing literally everything that I had done and trying to fit it in and make it work well. And then I think that it ends up being a super cute vibe overall. I love the stripiness on the right side. These buildings right here, I like a lot more than the ones on the other side. I think they're a little more detailed, but the ones on the other side still match the same energy with the rainbow vibe. So it was like, I had to do it. I had to do it. Thank you, Lovestruck, for the inspiration on the Pride Parade, because that just makes sense. Love. Love is love. Lovestruck is Lovestruck. Sims is Sims. That's not necessarily a good thing, but it is what it is. It's where we're at. I also put the gnomes on the building too, just to kind of be a shout out to the gnome float, which was cute. I had a request to put some pride flags on the balconies again. This is why I like people being on streams, so I can get suggestions. I love that suggestion. It's really cute. I see flags all the time on people's balconies that they put. And then here, I look for Batman. We actually put Batman on the top of a building. So again, it's just little things like that that I think don't go as noticed if people were to just go on the gallery, plop the lot down and look at it. And then this is where you can see I put the little Reaper gnome that's hidden in the float there. You can come up with your own story. And then this is where I'm putting those like kind of risque mannequins on the balcony here. I had so much fun with this lot. I went into this build very intimidated because I've never done one like this before. I had no idea what I was gonna do. I'm wrapping it up, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get into the lot and show y'all what it looks like. Okay, so here we are. And you can see the parade marshal. This is the float here. I have like the little cow plants with the fairies and gnomes all over it. And this is where I was talking about the Wicked vibes with Elphaba and Glinda on top here. So it's kind of like fun vibes, I feel like, for that as well. And then just to like kind of give y'all a view of all of the mannequins, because I have a feeling that this might not be the like easiest slot to load in, which is why I always like to tour after I show the speed build. and give y'all a little more of a detailed view in case you just can't see it in your own game. It kind of, brings you along for the ride, I feel like, in a fun way, but you can kind of see all of the different mannequins we have here. I even like put some art over on the sides of the buildings. We had a stairwell here. This was another suggestion in the chat that I wouldn't have thought about. And then on this side, we have some other fun nods. I like the super fancy dressed mannequins. One instance that I was talking about here is like the kid. I liked picturing this kid interacting with the bunny. And so the bunny's like gonna come and give her some balloons or something. But I tried to give like some characters fun balloons and things to make it seem more realistic, because that's just like something I've seen in parades with people holding balloons and things that they throw out to people in the audience. Now, the one thing I did want to show y'all though that I think you'll get a kick out of is the mannequin that's gonna run into the pole, which is right here. We have the mannequin who's about to like run into the pole, and then this is the guy I was talking about. Like he's watching. He's like, is she really about to run into this pole? I just think it's fun to incorporate some storylines like that in these that just, I don't think anyone could guess that that is what was happening here. Maybe you could see this and see like she's about to run into the bowl, but you wouldn't pay attention to this as much. And then this is the little balcony that I was talking about. So I put the fun little decal here, and they're wearing the fun kind of risque stuff with a bar. And then this is like our king moment. Some fun characters on this float. And then this is the statue I was talking about. Just thought that was kind of cool to have on the back of the truck. And then just so y'all can get an idea of what it looks like in the lighting, this is like the sunset lighting. This is nighttime. So it is still pretty well lit at night. We have a safe neighborhood here, and then the morning time as well. I mean, I could go on and on and on to show y'all every little thing. I think y'all get the gist of this. It was a fun build to do. Again, let me know in the comments below what you would like to see me do next with a lot like this. And as always, I wouldn't be surprised if I forgot something with the lore and the stories we put in this build. So drop those down in the comments below if you were on the stream and you're like, oh, you forgot about this one. Oh, and also, just so y'all can see, that's where Batman is. I forgot to show y'all Batman, or Bat Llama, I guess you could say. And before we go, just keep in mind, you cannot download this from the gallery. I saved it to my library, and I called it the Gayborhood Pride Parade. Now, I'm going to show you really quickly how you can get this in your game. So first, you're going to see a Google Drive link down below. When you click on it, you're going to be shown this page. And I know this looks like a lot of like mumbo jumbo, like what the heck is this? But in your game, you have tray files, and the tray files basically represent the lots that are in your game. Each lot pretty much has these 3 types of files, where it's a blueprint, a BPI, and a tray item. And all you have to do is download these and then copy them, paste them over into your tray files. And I'm going to show you where exactly those are found. So usually your Sims files are under Documents. So you'd click on Documents, you go to Electronic Arts, click on The Sims 4, and then you'll see Tray right here. There's a folder called Tray. And when you click on that, this is where you see like all your builds, all of your stuff. I think even like Sims you have cast items are in here too. Yeah, because you can see household. So this contains like all of the stuff that's in your save file. These are not your save files. It's just like the things that are in your save files. All you're going to do is download those files that I showed you, copy paste them into this, and then the lot should be in your game. Let me know if you are having any issues seeing them. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. I think it's fun to do something a little bit different and off the wall here and there. Not your typical Sims build here. I appreciate it if you made it to the end. If you'd like to support me as a content creator, it'd mean a lot to me. I have a link down below if you want to become a Soul supporter. And with that, you get a couple of perks. And then if you'd like to check out my last speed build video, I'll put that over here for you. And with that, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay? Bye. Y'all, I do think genuinely this is one of my favorite builds that we did all of Pride Month. I'm not gonna lie. It was a ton of fun, and it was the one I was like most scared about too, which is pretty funny.